17 playoff appearances, 4 WNBA championships. Now, upon their return to Seattle Center,
it's great to be back. It's really just great to be back.
The Seattle Storm are ready for more. In her 21st season with the team, Sue Bird listened to the chants and is back.
I can always gain more knowledge. Experience helps with that as well, but I can always be the smartest one out there.
That insight, along with reigning All-WNBA first-teamers Breanna Stewart and Jewell Loyd, has the Storm contenders as they start the 2022 season. After an early exit from the 2021 playoffs, those returners join new faces with one common goal.
It's just the culture here. It's a championship culture.
Our Storm season tip-off starts now.
The Storm season tip-off on Fox 13.
And a live look outside Climate Pledge Arena in the brand new jewel of Seattle Center, where the 4-time WNBA champion Seattle Storm will tip off another season in 24 hours' time. As we welcome you to our Storm tip-off special alongside Alyssa Charleston, I'm Aaron Levine. Alyssa is our resident basketball expert, played professionally overseas. Alyssa, the expectations are always high for a team that is no stranger to winning championships. Is there any reason to temper those expectations in 2022?
Yes, but not dramatically. We're going to get to that. But anytime you have Breanna Stewart, Sue Bird, Jewell Loyd on the court at the same time, you like their odds. Their ceiling is so high. The best player in the world, 2 of the smartest guards in the world. They can go get you a WNBA championship. Breanna Stewart feels 100% after that Achilles tear that changed the outcome of their season last year. She's 6'4". She's a matchup nightmare anywhere on the floor. Former WNBA MVP, definition of a unicorn. Then Jewell Loyd coming off her best season in terms of scoring, over 17 a game. She had 37 in their regular season finale. She can create for herself, and she's an outside threat. Sue Bird, she spent half of her life in the WNBA. She came back for another year to play in Climate Pledge. This team wants to win for her. And really, no one in this league has quite the coach on the floor like Sue Bird. She knows her own capabilities. She's changed her game. She's 41, and the game is just slower for her. So she feels, she sees and opens up her teammates like no one else. And Aaron, they've added a lot of fresh new talent like WNBA All-Stars around those 3. We don't know how they're all going to work together yet. So their floor is kind of unknown, but they're just going to be working out their depth. This was the most active and dramatic WNBA offseason. We talked about it all the time. Teams like Connecticut and Las Vegas, they're just loaded. And even with the big 3, the Storm is not the favorite to win. So I don't think that's a bad position to be in. They're going to have something to prove.
And listen, just a few months ago, we didn't know whether Sue Bird would be back. Breanna Stewart was a free agent for the first time in her career. Jewell Loyd had not signed a multi-year deal yet. Now all 3 of them are back. And here's what Coach Noelle Quinn had to say about that.
When we have them on our team, we're always in a mix to be, holding a trophy at the end of the year. The pieces that we added in the offseason complement those pieces. And I don't want to get too high or too low, but I'm super confident in the work that they put in, the work that we put in as a staff, and just the hunger and the desire and the competitiveness of this team. That's going to lead us to where we need to go.
And taking a look at last year's season stats for all 3 of them, we're going to hear a stat from Elise Woodward on how good the Storm is in the playoffs when all 3 of these players are healthy and they're in a good rhythm. But when Breanna Stewart is healthy, Seattle is 2 for 2 in the WNBA Finals. When they get there, I asked her after their first preseason game if she felt 100% after that Achilles tear last year. She said yes.
I guess I really didn't realize it was my first game back since last season, but the thing that I was most concerned about was my wind and making sure that I'm continuing to kind of get into the great conditioning state that I want to be in. But I felt great, was moving great.
Now, combined, those 3 players accounted for more than half of the team's points and half of the team's assists last season, even with Stewie missing the last few games of the year. The Storm finishing 21-11, but they lost in the first round of the playoffs. Alyssa, unfinished business has to be part of their motivation this time around.
No question about it. They even have it painted in their brand new, beautiful locker room. Leave no doubt. It's above it, so it reminds them all the time. Missing Breanna Stewart at the end of the season was a big reason why they bowed out of the playoffs early, losing to the Phoenix Mercury. That was a big disappointment after they started the season 14-2, and they kind of went through a shooting slump after that Olympic break, even with Stewie in the lineup, because Sue Bird and Jewell Loyd missed games here and there. Their shooting efficiency was the best in the WNBA before late July's Olympic break. They were shooting like 52%, Aaron, and after the Olympics, they dropped below around the league average, which is just not like them. And I'm not the coach, so I can't say if it was all bad shots or just not seeing it go down game after game. But after dominating the Connecticut Sun in the Commissioner's Cup, the first ever Commissioner's Cup, the Storm lost 5 of their next 7. And then Brianna Stewart's season ended with the Achilles. So they have to feel a lot better coming into this season with everyone healthy and a few weeks of training camp, practice, and 2 preseason games. I feel like they're going to be really sharp before tomorrow.
Well, and it was really strange to see the biggest names on the team actually there for the start of training camp this year. That's rare because they're normally finishing seasons overseas. And here's what they had to say about their initial impressions of this roster.
I think the roster excites me. I think this is a championship level type roster. I think we're hungry for that, given what happened last year.
I think we're extremely motivated. Obviously, we have some new people, some of the returning players, and just trying to really build that chemistry. And, you know, the phrase that Noe left with our team is leave no doubt.
And hopefully that's what they'll do this season. Alyssa, they both mentioned the newcomers helping this roster out. Who stands out to you there?
Well, Aaron, I am a post player. I was raised as a post player, so I'm going to show my bias here. It's Chantel Lavender. She's really exciting to watch, and especially when we know Mercedes Russell will be out for 3 to 5 weeks to start the season with a non-basketball injury. Lavender is a great pick and roll option when you have a pick and roll master like Sue Bird. She sets hard screens, which point guards absolutely love. She's got great mid-range, so she works well in that high-low game with Brianna Stewart eventually, and she can hit the 3. She can have that long range, and they needed a lot more of that in the second half of last season. And then Gabby Williams is another one to watch. She didn't play in the W last season. She was playing in the for the French national team, but she averaged almost 8 points a game when she played with the Chicago Sky back in 2020. She has a really consistent mid-range pull-up jumper off the screen, and she's such an annoying defender in the best way. You always want someone who can irritate another team's best scorer. She can bring that pressure, and she and Brianne January, an 11-year vet from Spokane who the Storm got in free agency, just led their Hungarian team overseas to a EuroLeague championship. Those are the ones I'm excited to see.
Well, the opening night roster was released earlier today. 12 players, but only 11 of them are actually in town. Jade Melbourne, very appropriately named since she's from Australia, not with the team, although they do hold her rights. We'll have time to talk about a lot of these players. Let's take a look at some of the important dates coming up as well. They've got a lot of big games early on this season, starting with the home opener tomorrow against Minnesota. Then this Sunday in Las Vegas. Vegas considered one of the favorites to win a title this season. Saturday, May 14th, it's the playoff rematch against Diana Taurasi and the Phoenix Mercury at home. You get the defending WNBA champs, the Chicago Sky, at home on May 18th. And then the odds-on favorite to win it all this year, Connecticut, on June 5th at home. Coming up on our Storm Tip-Off special, Sue Bird shares her connection with the fan base.
There's women that I saw pregnant, and then you fast forward 20 years, their kids are 20, you know, and they were taking their sons' daughters to games throughout the entire time.
She sat down one-on-one with Alyssa ahead of her 21st year in the league. And later, we'll take you inside Climate Pledge Arena as the team prepares for its first full season in the brand new facility. But first, to listen to the head coach mic'd up at practice ahead of the season opener.
Let's have a good, sharp day. Continue to have that carryover from yesterday, that energy level stay high. We don't want to be in here long. We want to have quality to what we want to do. Feel me? Yes! Come on, let's have a good day. Come on.
Let's go energy on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Energy. She's allowed some grace for me to figure this thing out as a coach, but also, you know, keeping the lines of communication open. I don't have an ego. I cannot as a head coach. And it is important to allow her to coach, to give space to verbalize things, to teach. My hope is that I continue to make sure we evolve and that I challenge her to continue to be great.
And it's really a luxury to have another coach on the floor in the game when you're talking about Sue Bird. And Alyssa, you recently spoke with the 12-time All-Star, and here's what she had to say, starting with her decision to come back for another year.
I knew I wanted to play another one pretty quickly after the season ended. There was a couple of different, people I wanted to talk to, and there were a couple of different, things I wanted to weigh before I actually said it. So there was like a built-in 2 to 3 month period where I didn't have to say anything publicly, but behind the scenes I could kind of act as if I was going to play. Once free agency started to open up, we all thought it was important that I kind of go public then, and that was kind of how it all came about.
How big was playing in Climate Pledge in your decision?
Yeah, I know. It's like, I always joke, I'm like, it wasn't not a part of it. If I was ready to retire and I was done, I don't know if the arena would have pulled me out of that, but I was obviously wishy-washy about it, and knowing that we were going to be able to play in Climate Pledge, knowing that we were going to be able to play, in Seattle again, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt.
I've read that when you were walking off the court that last game, everyone chanting one more year, that it blew you away. How close do you really feel to this fan base after so many years?
I feel really close to the fan base. There's women that I saw pregnant, and then you fast forward 20 years, their kids are 20, and they were taking their sons, daughters to games throughout the entire time. Then, of course, the one more year chant. What really blew me away about that was that they were aware of the fact that, I was debating, understanding that I've been playing here a long time. Of course, it's going to end at some point. They've watched me grown up. I got here when I was 21 years old. I'm 41 now. They've literally watched me grow up as a basketball player. I think for older players at times, it's hard to let go of certain parts of your game. I am not the same player I was. For me, because I'm like a cerebral point guard, I'm thinking all the time. I can always gain more knowledge. Experience helps with that as well, but I can always be the smartest one out there. That's always within my control.
Leave no doubt. I know I was in your locker room.
Yeah.
How much does that affect you and change how you look at this year?
Listen, so I've played here, 20 years, and we've only won 4 times. So I like to remind people it's like a lot of losing. And it's amazing that we've won 4 times. What was tough last year, more than anything, was that Stewie got hurt at the end. So that is really, for me, what felt the most unfinished. Of course, it felt unfinished because we didn't win. So to have Stewie back healthy, we've added a lot of pieces to the team. Don't leave any doubt. It's more so just don't have regret in your day-to-day approach, and then hopefully you can look back on the season and feel that way.
Bird will take. You bet. She's unconscious right now.
You love to see those moments. Listen, I associate a lot of accomplishments with Sue Bird, but a lot of losing, as she put it, not one of them. But I understand what she means in terms of championships versus total years in the league.
Yeah, that made me laugh. And I was like, can we talk about your 5 Olympic gold medals in that span? Just ridiculous. But crazy to believe she's been winning since 2004. I was watching her in 5th grade, and her humility, the first time meeting her, was striking. You have to be humble to adapt and change your game as you get older. And it's incredible to realize she's been winning since 2004, in the league for 21 years, like we talked about. And she's been more outspoken and demanded for coverage for women's sports, more coverage in that matter, and so many other things. Her answer was the work she's doing now is not for her, it's for the generations after. And we've already seen her impact several generations.
It really is remarkable. And coming up, we're going to hear from one of the voices of the Storm. Storm analyst Elise Woodward joins us and tells us just how impactful the big 3 are when they're healthy and on the court. But first, another chance to listen in to head coach Noelle Quinn in practice.
Good, come on, get there. Good contest. Good, good. Way to get there, Jewel. Excellent job, E. I was going to end it on that last one. Excellent job. These guys are tough to keep in front. Be encouraged. Good job. On you, Pope.
Again, back here on the Storm tip-off special, a live look at Climate Pledge Arena, where it all goes down for the first time in the regular season tomorrow night. The Storm and Minnesota. It's a game you can see on Fox 13+. Well, you'll see here on all the broadcasts of our Storm games on Fox 13+, your official Storm station. Elise Woodward joining us tonight. Elise, the Storm had their preseason opener at Climate Pledge Arena, but what will tomorrow be like as they play their first regular season game at their brand new home?
Well, I'm telling you, I'm really excited. We all knew what the atmosphere was like at the arena, and it's been 3 years since they've really had a true home court. They spent time at Everett, they spent time at UW, but they spent time in the Wubble. But we saw with this, for those that have been to a Kraken game, the atmosphere is electric. The acoustics are awesome inside Climate Pledge Arena. And this is the 4-time world champ Seattle Storm in the, could be, we'll see with Sue Bird. It's certainly a chance to come out in her final season potentially and cheer her on. I expect the atmosphere to be electric.
We know it played a factor in Sue Bird coming back for at least one more season. Conventional wisdom, as you mentioned, tells us this is probably her last year, even though she hasn't explicitly said it. Can we assume that's probably the case, though?
I would say that why even assume, really? I mean, we all, it could be her last year, and it most likely will be her last year. But if she comes out and keeps putting up these great numbers and she's having fun and she loves the game, why not? She can keep going. It's been something that I just can't believe she's still playing at age 41 because she had knee surgeries early in her career. She tore her ACL when she was at UConn. I mean, and then she's had some reoccurring issues with her knee. To be able to be at 41 and playing at the level that she was playing at and the all-time WNBA assist leader coming back for a season, I will tell fans that have seen her in person, those that watch on TV, that you really should get out and savor one of the best point guards that we've ever seen in basketball, not just women's, but in basketball. And there has never been a player smarter than Sue Bird and a coach on the floor and get you open when you don't even know that you're open. It has been fantastic being able to watch her in her career every season here with the Seattle Storm.
There was a lot of speculation this offseason that the big three would not come back together. What are your thoughts on this chance to run it all back at least one more time and challenge for a title?
Well, I know when the big three are healthy and they're on the floor, they've won the last 10 playoff games in a row. So when Breanna Stewart is healthy and she, unfortunately, suffered an Achilles injury at the end of last season after they'd won the Commissioner's Cup and after they'd had such a fantastic season, and that was unfortunate. But she is healthy. She's ready to go. She looks great. And they've got Jewell Loyd back. They've got Sue Bird back. So this is a team with those three. They can challenge anybody at any time. And I do like some of the moves they've made in the supporting cast. It's a really similar roster to last year, and they had a phenomenal year before Stewart got hurt. So I think there's big things ahead for this team if they can stay healthy.
When I look at the rosters from their championship teams in 2018 and 2020, the two names that stand out to me are Alicia Clark and Natasha Howard. They're not here anymore. Who are the players that will fill some of those key roles as a supporting cast that can hopefully get them another ring this year?
Well, I think they made two big pickups that are going to be really interesting to follow. And if they play well, it could add a huge dimension to Seattle. And the one that I can't wait to see how she fits in with Seattle is Gabby Williams. She played with Breanna Stewart at UConn. She got drafted 4th overall back in 2018. She did not play in the WNBA last year because she played for the French national team. Her mom is from France, and she wanted that opportunity. She got a bronze in Tokyo. She is one of the best athletes in the world. When you watch her play, I can't wait to see the fear in opponents' eyes when they're like, wait, I either have to take Jewell Loyd on one wing or Gabby Williams on the other. Like, she can get to the hoop with anybody, as Jewell can, and a fabulous defender.
Elise Woodward, Seattle Storm analyst on all the games you can see right here on Fox 13 Plus, your official Storm station. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be electric. It's going to be one of, I think, the best environments that we've seen for a Storm game. They've been in the playoffs. They've had, so many championships. But when you open an arena as fabulous at Climate Pledge for the 4-time world champs, I think it's going to be a can't-miss kind of activity.
Can't wait. And Alyssa, you were there for the preseason game at Climate Pledge Arena. What were your impressions of their brand new digs?
Have you ever seen the movie Smart House?
I need to.
It's a Disney movie? Yeah. Really high tech. A lot of perks in this one. They even have an automatic door heading into their locker room. Everything a 4-time WNBA championship team deserves, and they broke a franchise record selling 3,300 season tickets for this one. Here's a few reasons why players called it the best arena in the country.
The signage of the Storm everywhere in the building. It's a state-of-the-art arena, and I'm just excited to be a part of it.
The locker room is probably the best. That's where we're going to spend most of our time. So it's always nice when the locker room is like comfortable, but it kind of has all the things you would need. It's going to sound silly, but the stereo system's great. You know, we listen to music in there a lot.
I just love how I feel like modernized it is. Just like the waving of the hands for the doors. I mean, I think that's kind of cool. But I think when the Jumbotron went on the floor, the way the floor lit up, and you could kind of see like those lightning bolts, I thought that was super dope.
Cannot wait to see that tomorrow. Coming up, we focus on tomorrow's season opener. The Minnesota Lynx coming to town, and we may not know whether this is Sue Bird's final season in the league, but the Lynx are celebrating a final ride for one of their own. But first, as we go to the break, take a listen as Coach Quinn gets the Storm ready for their opener.
Good. Good. And good, Jenna. Come on. Yep. Sit down. Good contest. Here we go. We need 2. Come on. We need 2. Play it. Good, Stewie. Good, Stewie. Don't need it. Good. Good D. Finish plays.
And you hear that word a lot in sports, finish, as we take another look at the center of the Storm's world tomorrow night in their home opener, Climate Pledge Arena, as we welcome you back to the Storm season tip-off. Sue Bird's not the only one likely playing her final season in the league. Minnesota's Sylvia Fowles has definitively said this is her last go-around, Alyssa.
Yeah, the Storm have to face a legend on the court tomorrow. Fowles is a 7-time All-Star, 2 WNBA Finals, 2 titles to her name, and 2 Finals MVPs, 4 Olympic golds with Sue Bird, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, including last season at 36 years old. Here's the cool part about her farewell tour, though, Aaron. It's called Syl's Final Ride. Fowles is partnering with Free Bikes for Kids in Minnesota, which includes riding with and distributing bikes to kids there. First team hooper and first-class human for sure.
Really cool to hear. And let's be clear about this. Between Bird and Fowles, 9 Olympic gold medals. That's absolutely insane. And while fans at tomorrow's game won't be receiving an Olympic medal, they will be getting the next best thing. Check out this commemorative ticket that will be given out to the first 3,000 fans. The doors open at 5:30. These tickets come in an acrylic frame featuring the big 3, Bird, Stewie, Jewel Lloyd. The Storm playing at Seattle Center tomorrow night for the first time since September 2018. Should be a fantastic night. We'll have exclusive coverage throughout all of our newscasts all afternoon tomorrow, live from Climate Pledge Arena at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock right here on Fox 13, your official Storm station. For Alyssa Charleston, I'm Aaron Levine. We will see you tomorrow night from the Storm season opener.